Welcome to Must-In-Laws Be Outlaws
with Cathy and Lucette.
Nice to have you join us. Thank you very much. I'm going to start with an anecdote, a true anecdote. I had a neighbor, and she was very proper, very attractive, well-dressed, played bridge, played golf, did all the right things. But she had daughters-in-law, and I knew she really had trouble with it because I knew she had 3 sons, and I knew she had 3 daughters-in-law. And I have 3 sons, and now I have 3 daughters-in-law. And so I said to her one day, how do you like your daughters-in-law? And she says, oh, with my daughters-in-law, I really hit the jackpot. I said, really? I was so stunned. She says, yeah, I got 3 lemons.
Okay, that's funny. That's funny.
And that was the prevailing attitude at that time, and maybe
I think
even
it
today.
still is.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I think, it's a gamble when you marry into a family who you're going to get as the, as the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law. And, today's topic is actually appropriately titled, How Do You Take the High Road? So let's just say you get a lemon. How do you take the high road?
Good question. Okay. That sounds a lot easier than it is to do.
And just for the record, we were both lemons in the beginning of this relationship. We're living proof that you can transform lemons into lemonade. Just saying. So
No, it's actually very true. Both Cathy and I had issues. We had issues when we first began.
But that's different.
But the good news is, how do we end every conversation now?
Usually with I love you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we say I love you to each other, and we mean it.
Yeah,
We're not
deeply.
just saying it. So we are the living proof it can be done. It absolutely can be done. So how do you take the high road? How do you take the high road?
I'll let you go with that one. I don't know.
Well, every issue is different.
That's true.
You can't give a one-size-fits-all. But there are things you can do.
Well, is there an example of when you've had to take the high road with me even? Oh, I can think of one. Okay. This is like early days. And I was still learning emotional regulation. And we were having lunch with in Great Neck and in your home. And it was with Diane Allen. And I didn't like something you had just said. Probably because I took it as an insult or some such perspective. And I got mad. And you said to me, that only makes you look unfavorable. It doesn't make me look unfavorable.
What she means is not, it didn't make me look unfavorable. It made herself look unfavorable because she got angry.
Yeah.
And
in real time, I was so angry and I couldn't adjust my sails in that moment. And I got really angry at lunch, and it was with a friend of yours.
Right.
And you took the high road, though, I think.
But so did you. Because you didn't lash back at me.
Once you said that, no. But no. I felt, I was so mad.
Well, at first you felt diminished.
Yeah.
That would be the right word.
I think that's probably what I was feeling when I got mad.
Right. But then she thought about it. And you have to, in all fairness, our experiences, as I said, it's not one size fits all. Our experiences may work for you, but they may not work for you. So
But what did you mean by that? Like, just to take the high road for a second, like, I don't know if you remember, you probably don't, because it probably wasn't significant for you, but in that moment.
Oh, I do remember.
You spoke from the heart and you spoke truth. And I think that is a really interesting thing, right? So, like, if you can speak truth with love, that stops, emotion from getting bigger because you feel it. You can feel truth when it's said with love.
I've given communication a great deal of thought. And most of us speak without thinking beforehand. And that could be very detrimental. You need to be able to give it some thought before you say something, because sometimes you'll say something and it could be hurtful, even if you don't mean it to be hurtful. So, having three sons has probably been very helpful for me to think, because if I say what I'm actually thinking right off the bat, they don't like it. It doesn't matter how I say it. It doesn't matter, what I say. But if I give it thought and I phrase it in a way that's more palatable, they'll accept it. I mean, I've been brought up with a brother and a sister, and I've learned with them, if I say to my brother, for example, you should do this,
How does that go?
Doesn't work. It
No.
doesn't work. But if I approach it sort of from the back end, he'll say, thank you. That's a good suggestion. So I guess the first thing I would say to anybody is, if you want to take the high road, not everybody wants to.
That's true.
But if you want to, think before you speak.
I like that. I also have a trick that I do with you. You want me to tell you what I do with you sometimes? Okay, so I'm getting the real inside dirt here. Take this to heart. So sometimes if you get off on a tangent, or you're lost in a story and it's gone on for longer than I want, I will ask you a question to divert your attention. Oh, and it works all the time.
It always works.
So I'd say the high road can look different at different places.
That's a good
but
point.
Sometimes like redirection is the high road. Like sometimes just like
no, that's very true. There's actually a Frasier episode where Daphne goes off on a tangent all the time, and they say, Frasier says to his brother, "Watch this, Daphne," and she says, "Yes." And he says, "Oh, never mind. I can't remember what I wanted to say." And then she says, "Gee, I don't remember what I have to say either." And it's over. So they try it again with the father, but it didn't work with the father. But I think that's a good trick. Really. But now I'm on to you.
I know. Well, I'm divulging all my secrets here. What's going to happen?
But that's really good, because it's a benign way of diverting someone, whether they're on a rant or whether they're just talking too much or whatever it is. It's very good.
Yeah, thank you. And I think, like, I take the high road sometimes, and I'm still learning. I don't think that I actually have a great ability to take the high road all the time. But sometimes when I'm really, I use this term, my cup is full, which means that means all of my needs have been met. I'm not overworked. I'm not overtired. I'm not over hungry. Everything's kind of flowing for me, at capacity. And when I'm at that place in my life, I can take the high road very easily.
Of course.
Things roll off my back. I don't take things personally. It's super easy to be the bigger person because I don't have any attachment to what's happening. But if I'm tired or if I'm hungry, forget about it. All bets are off. I'm cranky.
Okay, so
anyone can relate.
That's important, what you just said, because unfortunately, all of us cannot always be happy, satisfied, fed, whatever it all is, at the time something confronts us.
That's true.
So what happens if you're not in a good place and somebody does confront you, but you know in your heart you don't want to create friction? Then what would you do?
I lash out still. I still, not detrimentally necessarily, but I don't know. If I'm really run down or overworked or impatient, I know what I do. I don't lash out so much anymore. I get the tone.
You get what?
I get the tone. The tone.
Oh, the tone that the person's speaking.
No, I get the tone. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? When you
you have an attitude.
Yeah, when your words may sound nice, "Oh, that's lovely," but you say, "Oh, that's lovely." You know the tone.
So true.
I still get the tone. So I'm still working on taking the high road, because that tone, I have tried. I am 50 plus years old, and it still comes out, even though I've done a lot of work around it. It comes out less, but it bothers people so much.
It does matter to whom you're speaking. For example, if you're speaking to a family member that you like, your daughter or your husband,
they get the tone the most.
But they recognize it a lot faster than a stranger might.
That's true.
So And sometimes that's the time that's most important to control your tone, your expression, your attitude. So we're both still in the learning stages. I mean, I'm a lot older than she is, but you never know. I know you can't
Hardly.
tell. But the truth of the matter is, I consider myself a student of human behavior. And I'm always learning, and I know you feel the same way. So, let's ponder this for a moment. You're hungry, you're tired,
I'm
you're
overworked, and now you get the tone. How do you handle it?
okay. I have to decide now. It's important to me. You have to know it's important to you, and you have to, and yet you don't want somebody to walk all over you either. So it's a precarious position. You have to know the person well enough in order to say something like, "Can we discuss this?" That means
We've
not
done that before.
"Can you discuss it?" or "You should." Mm-mm-mm-mm. As a matter of fact, your husband hates when I do that. You know what I did?
Oh yeah, you point to him and say
point.
you should.
I
Oh,
point.
it's his pet peeve.
He hates that.
Oh, that's not
So,
good.
so he's told me that in a joking way. Joking gets a lot of
You got
things
the finger
across.
out right now.
Well, no, I'm showing that I'm showing, but
For audiences who are
but the
listening, she's
truth
got
of
the
the
finger going.
right, but the truth of the matter is, Mark has told me it in a joking way.
Yeah, so you could hear it.
And so I've heard him, and I try not to do it anymore. So little things like that. If you can use humor, humor carries you far. Not all of us can always use humor.
I've been told in my family I'm not funny. So I'm going to go with humor's not my strong suit. I'm annoying. I have tone. No, but seriously, taking the high road, it's an ever ongoing practice.
I mean, I know that you've worked hard to develop a very positive relationship, both with your husband and your daughter.
Yeah.
And
they're great people.
And it shows, not just with you. You're happier, but they're happier.
Yeah.
And that's a very positive thing. So if we need to advise anybody to take the high road, we need to come up with one or two tools. What would be a tool?
Well, you said it best, humor. If someone
resort,
if it's a close relationship, so let's just say it's me and my husband, one of us has to give the other grace. So taking the high road could also look like giving the other person grace and just knowing that they're, like I just said, overworked, underfed, sleep deprived. And if the other person, one of the person has to like just see that and say, you know what, this isn't personal. Like she's just going through something right now, or perimenopause, something for like years. Or with like my daughter, she sometimes is more mature than I am. And I think that she takes the high road because she'll tell me, have you meditated today? Have you gone for a walk? She's like, you might need to do those things. Like she'll say that to me. And I appreciate it because it comes from love.
She's amazing. I mean, she is. She just happens to be my granddaughter, and I'm
not
biased. But the truth of the matter is, we all recognized when she was an infant that she's an old soul. But I don't want to get off on a tangent.
Humor. You said humor. Humor.
So humor is one thing. And Mark said something. Her husband said something that, because I'm with my husband morning, noon, and night, and I adore him. However, we get on each other's nerves from time to time. That's a euphemism. Anyway, Mark said, when you want to, I'm laughing because he said, when you want to scream or yell at him, he says, what animal do you like the most? So let's say it's a cat and maybe a lion or something like that. He said, Dad, you be the lion, Mom can be the cat. Instead of saying anything, he said, Mom, you go, meow. And Dad, you say, roar. Well, it's so silly that you start to laugh and it diffuses everything. All right, that's one way. It's not the only way. But humor is a very important thing to incorporate in any discussion. The other thing, and this is really important because as a mother-in-law, I know that I tended to do this, and I try not to do it anymore. I
can't
get
wait for this.
A condescending attitude. I will.
Oh, you get the tone too. Yeah, it happens.
But my tone is condescending.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, and I don't.
That's why Mark hates it so much. We both get the tone.
It's so hilarious because
it's not hilarious. Okay, no one thinks that's funny, but us. Only we think it's funny. No one thinks it's funny when we get the tone.
How lucky we are, right? But see, the thing is, we didn't think it was funny years ago.
That's true. I really hated the tone.
Right. And you got the tone, and I didn't like it either.
Yeah.
So
we learned grace.
But we learned that's the right word.
And
grace.
I learned
grace
love.
Is a good word.
I learned grace, and I also learned not to take the tone personally, which husband, take some notes. Like, I learned not to take the tone personally because I now understand I only give tone if I am depleted. I give tone, or let's be honest, husbands and daughters and children can be annoying. And sometimes after you've asked for the 10th time for something to happen, you do get tone because you're like so annoyed that you've already asked 10 times for something to happen. I think the tone's justified in some cases, but we're talking about taking the higher roads. So I got off track.
You know, I will say, and I'm sure you've heard this expression, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Oy, oy, oy.
Okay. That is key. And sometimes the mother-in-law or the daughter-in-law or the son-in-law or anybody in the family gets this tone. And
does anyone else get the tone? You guys have to write to us and let us know. You can send us an email at mustinlawsbeoutlaws @gmail.com. mustinlawsbeoutlaws@gmail.com. Do you guys get the tone? Is this relatable? Send us your information. Send us your queries. We want to hear from you because at the end of every podcast, we get who gets the last word. You do. So we want to hear from you.
Exactly right.
Are we ready to move on to who gets the last word? No.
What, I'm sorry?
Are we ready to move on to who gets the last word?
Yes, I think that's an important topic.
What do you think? Who gets the last word? Oh, we have some audience questions. Let's look and see. I was checking to see if it looks like we're on time or not. Let's see. Who gets the last word? Okay. Oh wait, it's my turn, right? So you got the last word last time, so I get to read the last word this time.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, let's see which question I want to take. Oh, okay. What do you do when you're both protecting your place in the family?
Important question.
What do you think that means exactly? Like, what do you do when you're both protecting your place in the family?
I know what it meant to me.
Okay.
And you were my first daughter-in-law. And
the best. I'm just kidding.
She came along, and she had full of energy, and I knew my son was crazy about her, and I was happy for them both. However, she was taking an important place that I had occupied. Whether you knew it or not, whether my son knew it or not, it was very, very hard to relinquish that level of control. I mean, I'll tell you a perfect example. It had nothing to do with you. It had to do with my brother. I'm very close to my brother. And when my brother was getting married, the way he did not cement good relationships with my sister-in-law is by doing this. He said to her when they were getting married, I want my sister to go with me to pick out my wedding suit. And she said, do you want me to come along? And he said, that's up to you. Well, guess what? I was thrilled, but she was not thrilled. And I understand why. So it put us, and by the way, Cathy and I are not only talking about mother-in-law, daughter-in-law relationships. We're talking about family relationships, marital relationships, you know. In that case, my brother made an error. I was thrilled. I felt like hot stuff, but it set us off on the wrong foot. Today, we have a much, thankfully, time goes on and heals a lot of wounds, but who gets the last word and who is the...
And what do you do when you're both protecting your place in the family?
And you
I can answer that a little bit. I think that when I came into your family, again, I had all these expectations of like, I wanted this big extended family. You have all these lovely sons, and there's a lot of laughter in your household. And I was really looking forward to just being a part of that and plugging into that immediately. And it wasn't so easy to just fit in initially. I didn't feel welcomed initially. And it took my husband actually saying to me, it doesn't matter how my family is. I love you. And I love you. That's the end. Like, I love you so much that, like, this is what matters. You and I matter. And that helped me tremendously, that he was able to cocoon me in I don't want to say like in defense, but basically like to protect me sometimes from your family has like a relationship that they're what's the right word? Not fighting, but you bicker. There's a bickering that sometimes happens when all of your siblings get together. And Mark was able, and this is the early days, right? Don't forget, in the 1990s, the 1900s, Lucette. I'm going back to like the 1900s right now. But like when I first got into the family, Mark helped protect me, that was really helpful.
He really was wonderful. He really, I don't know if he's
Wait, past tense? He was.
No, because that was at that time.
Yeah.
He made us both feel like he wasn't taking sides.
Yeah, he did a good job.
And that was, I talk about it a lot because he made me feel like I was still important. I was the mother and I was still important. And he made Cathy feel that she was his love.
Yeah.
And that's not, so here's the thing. See the finger?
It's out. Now, I don't know that the audience listening can see the finger, but you might can hear the tone. It's coming. I'm just kidding.
No, the thing is that we all need to listen to ourselves. We blurt out things and then we don't know how to. You can't retrieve it. Once you say something, you can't retrieve it. Don't feel that you're being pushed at. And if you do, because you can't say don't feel something when it's pretty blatant. If you do, engage in communications with your child and also with your new child, your in-law child, because open lines of communication are the answer to almost everything.
Yeah, and I think you said it really well. This podcast isn't just about a mother-in-law and a daughter-in-law. This is navigating son-in-laws, sister-in-laws, every kind of relationship that falls under the heart space. So I feel like that's how we.
There's something very interesting. You know, people say, I can't get along with my mother-in-law, she's too strong, or I can't get along with my daughter-in-law because she's too strong. Well, we're here to tell you that's not true, because both Cathy and I are very strong women. We do what we feel we need to do. We do communicate a lot, and we also are very outgoing, both of us. It's not like one is a little meek and one is a little stronger. We're both strong women, and we've made it work. And
you can too. So the goal for this podcast, if you tune into our next topic, we have a few really exciting things to discuss. We're going to talk about, I'm curious actually for the next time to talk about what happens when you start to retire and the professional life falls away and you have to reinvent yourself. I'm really interested in reinvention. That's one of the topics I want to talk about. And then I'm really interested in when you have 3 sons and you have them all with different personalities, what's that like witnessing, 3 different people and expanding the family in that way. So I'm really looking forward to our next talk. This has been fun.
And I have something that I really want to bring up because I had to deal with it myself. How do you deal as a mother-in-law and how do you deal as the daughter-in-law when your mother-in-law has her own daughter?
Yep, that's a good one too. Okay, tune in, you guys, and we want to hear from you. So please send us all of the questions you can think of or all the relationship examples you can think of. I bet some of you have terrific relationships with your mother-in-law. We want to hear everything. We want to hear partnerships. We want to hear every different type of question that you can send in. Please email us at mustinlawsbeoutlaws.
You want to hear the good?
Wait.
The bad and the ugly.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. Email us at mustinlawsbeoutlaws@gmail.com. It'll be somewhere on the screen, but we look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Till next time.